Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Intuitive Soul Rising. I'm Rachel Sawani, a spiritual medium, intuitive coach, and ascension guide. And today I'm going to be channeling some messages from the dragons and other guides that may show up today for the full moon in Sagittarius happening on Saturday, June 3rd, and the upcoming 6/6 portal. So welcome everyone. Hello in the comments. And before we start, I'm just going to go over a couple announcements, give everyone some time to tune in. We do have some events coming up in my private Intuitive Soul Rising Facebook group. We have our Channeling Eric event that happens every Friday with the wonderful medium Con Knight. And that is going to be this Friday and every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll leave a link to that Facebook group in the descriptions box here. If you're not a member, definitely join. Con answers all of your questions. Any question you have, he'll channel guidance from spirit for you. So, and also that group is really all about our spiritual community coming together to develop our mediumship skills and support each other on our ascension paths. So I also have my Patreon group that I have some events coming up there in the month of June. I am going to be hosting 2 mediumship circle practices in June, which are channeling practice events, live private Zoom meetings where we all get together and practice channeling messages from different spirit guides for each other. I don't have those dates picked out yet, but they are going to be in June. And then I also will be doing a channeling with the Lemurians on the Patreon group. And you'll have opportunities to ask personal questions from them or receive group messages as well. Just looking at my notes, those are the main events, but I've been connecting a lot with the dragons lately, and I was shown last year that this time this year was going to be a big happening with the dragons. So their energy is really strong on the planet. So I've been connecting with a few different collective energies of different types of dragons coming through. Today, I am going to be channeling guidance from the rainbow dragons. So we'll talk a little bit about who they are and how they work with us. But I'll just say hello to everyone here. And there's Con, hello. And Carolyn, hi. Nicole's here, hello. And awesome, guys. So we'll start by, let's see. We'll start by just talking a little bit about the rainbow dragons. That's what I want to start with. And then we'll go into some messages that I picked up on for the full moon in Sagittarius and anything else that they want to share around that. And then we'll go into the 6/6 portal and what those energies are all about. And then I'll probably pull some cards along the way as well. I have a few decks with me today. And hopefully once we get through all of that towards the end, if there's room and time, I might be able to take some personal messages or have channel some personal messages for you guys. But do please hold off on posting any questions until I make the call for that in the comments. But hi, Amy. Yeah, the Lemurians. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I bet I was getting the signs that a lot of us are connecting with the rainbow dragons. I think that's part of the reason why they wanted to come through today to let you guys know to connect with them and why it's important to do so at this particular time, because we're really gearing up to, we're moving out of spring and we're gearing up to for the summer solstice that's going to be happening on June 21st. And then that's even prepping us. I'm even getting signs that we're being prepped for the Lionsgate portal coming up. I'm getting signs for Lionsgate already. So I feel like this is going to be an intense year for ascension and acceleration on many different timelines and spiritual paths. I feel like all these timelines are just merging together at this point. Um, and that's even what they're showing me right now. So it's definitely a heavy time for downloads. So stay connected to your team, and the Rainbow Dragons are definitely masters of wisdom codes. All the dragons really are, but they're masters of ascension codes is what I'm hearing right now. So awesome. Well, I was going to talk a little bit about just what was the experience, because this is more like an ascension report instead of a collective reading. That's what my guides were showing me, that these messages are going to basically turning into more like a ascension reports, because there's just so much happening anymore. It's not just about the lunar cycles anymore. There's just a lot of energy coming in, a lot of downloads. So the last report I did was the new moon in Taurus, and that message was all about slowing down and taking a steady pace, and having more grounding type of energy coming through, which I definitely felt the day of the new moon. And I felt really stabilized, even though I could feel the chaotic, or I don't want to say chaotic, but there was definitely chaotic energy happening around me. There was I was sensing shifts and changes, and my husband, and just, witnessing these things happening around me, but I felt more stable and grounded in my ability to handle that. So that was a positive aspect of that energy. But then the lingering energy from that was, there was definitely like an after that, there was a purging of emotional energy coming up. So there was like sort of like a 3 or 4 day window where I just felt like all this stuff wanting to purge out. But my guides were really telling me to slow down the pace. Like, don't rush through the process, and really take time to hear and see every single feeling that's coming up, and every single trigger that's activating that feeling to come up, and to really just stay with the energy of what wants to be revealed and what wants to be healed. So that was a good soul lesson for me, and seeing the benefit of really slowing it down to a pace that was like a snail pace for me personally. But it really did help me clear a lot of energy, and I can see why that is helpful for all of us, because it creates all this space for the new energy to come in. And I do feel like there is some new positive energy coming in after all of that. Another message that kept coming in for me was the rainbow. So I know the dragons are around, and I'm sure there's, a symbolism with their energy with the rainbow, but it was also being shown to me that, like, the after the rain, the rainbow comes out. That's when you get the pot of gold. You go through the storm, you weather the storm, you stand the test and stay grounded and true, and then you get that like feeling of calm after the storm, and everything passes, and there's peace. There's more peace in your life. So, in harmony. So that's definitely something that I was experiencing. Not sure how you all were feeling those energies, but I think it's important to talk about, what actually transpires after giving these readings. I can see how they kind of come full circle around. But let's talk about the rainbow dragons a little bit more. So one of the decks I use for the dragons is the Dragon Oracle cards deck by Diane Cooper. And there's a card in there with the rainbow dragons I pulled out. But I wanted to read a little bit from this, just to kind of give a brief description of who they are and how they work with us. They do carry that frequency of the rainbow. So obviously there's a lot of symbolism, what I just said about the mystical pot of gold that is said to await us at the end of the rainbow. They're there to help us get that. But it comes through wisdom that we achieve that. So let's see. A rainbow in the sky is a cosmic gift. If our heart leaps with joy and gratitude when we see one, the universe opens new doors for us. Glorious rainbow dragons carry the same promise. When they come to us, a multicolored mystical flame ignites within us. This automatically attracts something of significance from the universe towards us. In addition, rainbow dragons will take us to the mystical pot of gold that is said to await us at the end of the rainbow. This golden gift is our ancient wisdom, which has been waiting for us to rediscover it. With it, we know how to take knowledge and use it for the highest good of all. We become a wise one, a mage, and the rainbow dragons open the petals of our crown to connect us with universal knowledge. And as we use knowledge wisely, more comes to us. So there's a theme showing up in this particular full moon that is related strongly to wisdom. So we're going to move into what the sign of Sagittarius represents. So as I was tuning in to the energy, I was pulling in a lot of codes around wisdom. I was hearing pearl wisdom codes coming in with this full moon energy. And then I was guided to look up a little bit about the sign Sagittarius, because I don't know a lot about all of the signs astrologically. It is a fire sign, and it is the protector of the galaxy because the constellation of Sagittarius is found at the entrance to the Milky Way. It's also the only astrological sign armed with a weapon, a bow and arrow. And so, but the sign is a truth-seeking and philosophical sign. So that is relevant to the messages that want to come through. So I got bits and pieces of some of the messages, but again, it's about, okay, so they're showing me now, it's about your warrior self coming out. There is a warrior aspect to this energy, and it is about protection as well. And I'm hearing it's about safeguarding your heart, safeguarding your heart's wisdom from outside forces that are there to, they're saying the word attack, but it's like sway you to look outside of yourself for wisdom when all truth comes from within. So they're saying masters of intuition. They're wanting you to become, or this full moon energy is helping you to become masters of your own intuition. And that's coming from source consciousness is what they're saying. And being your highest light is seeking truth through your divine connection to source and the wisdom that comes from within your own heart's knowing of what is right for you. So what is right action for you, and how to see clearly the path forward without the distractions of those who are trying to kind of get your attention to look over here and look over here. The rainbow dragons really want you to stay steady on your path forward and steady on your missions forward, but they want you to connect into your heart. So, and your heart's wisdom for guidance. And that sometimes means slowing down the pace to hear the messages that want to come through, and also being patient in waiting for those messages to come through at the right time. So it's all about divine timing right now. There's a plan. It's like they're showing me there's a planning process. We're in the midst of this divine plan unfolding on the planet. And at the same time, we're all being put into positions of authority, is what they're saying, spiritual authority, as we learn to be masters of our own divine plan and architects of our own reality. We are having to tune into the elements of timing, and that's part of what the warrior aspect is sort of bringing forward. It's knowing when to act and when to sit still and be still and just be present with the information as it comes, and just allow it to flow in as it wants to flow in. So it's all about staying in alignment according to the divine flow, and knowing that the divine has a plan, and tuning into that plan means being patient with your own process and tuning into your own healing process as part of that plan unfolding. Is all of us tuning in individually to our own selves and higher selves, and what is wanting to be released through this full moon is what needs to be healed and activated within us, so we can stay on our soul mission, so we can stay tuned to the divine, and work alongside others that are essentially as a collective helping to unfold this higher plan that we don't know all of the pieces of how it's all going to turn out. But if we tune in to our higher selves and we stay connected energetically, and they're showing me that rainbow energy is really representing the bridge. It's like our all of our chakras aligned and open to receiving. And part of that receiving is through the healing process. When we tune into what wants to be purged and what wants to come out, we allow those feelings to come up and we release them. And then the new information comes in and we get that gold nugget, is what they're showing. It's after the storm that we get the gold nugget. So the gold nugget doesn't necessarily come in while we're in the middle of the storm. Sometimes the storm energy is very chaotic and it's hard to find our balance within that energy. So when those emotions, those denser and heavier emotions are coming up, sometimes it's harder for us to get the wisdom, the higher wisdom and the higher message of why that had to happen and what the gift was in experiencing that. They're calling it a healing gift. So what was the healing gift in that? And they're highlighting the word strength, because that was something that I personally went through. I realized a personal healing journey that I just went on. I realized that the gift that came out of it once the storm had passed was strength. I had a feeling of inner strength and compassion for myself as well. And so that's really what they mean by the pot of gold. Sometimes it's a quality that we get out of that experience that makes us stronger and we're able to endure more. And then we gain that higher wisdom that makes it easier for us to go through those transitions, and even help others or have compassion for others who are also going through that as well. So it's really through our experience is what they're showing that is our greatest teacher. And that's where we get all of our healing wisdom as well. And that's where these wisdom codes come online. So with the full moon energy, there's an association specifically with this moon as well with the pearl. So that was what they were showing me. They were calling it pearl wisdom codes. And I'm going to look up, or I mean, I'm not going to look up, I have looked up just some meaning, spiritual meaning around the pearl in terms of what the energy of the pearl helps us and how it's relevant in this situation. So let me just find that real quick. And it's all about inner wisdom. So that is just like a strong theme and message that just keeps coming in, especially with this Sagittarius, because they're about truth seeking, philosophical. So most of us here are all about finding the truth, but there's definitely a lot going on in the world that's here to distract us from actually finding the real truth. And there's distortions in what is being presented to us. So it really is also about, what they're showing me is discernment, using discernment. And you really have to be a finely tuned instrument, is what they're saying, to recognize the subtleties and the nuances and differences of frequency when someone is speaking truth and someone is speaking a distorted version of the truth, because it's not just so black and white. It's like a lot of the distortions that come through the AI technology and the darker forces out there that are kind of here to kind of keep us off our path, are nuanced. It's very subtle. It's like it comes in with like a truth lie. So it's not as just black and white. And we're really, they're showing us we're going through this process of rebirthing, but it's really a process of fine tuning our instruments, our bodies and ourselves as instruments for the divine, to recognize and be able to spot distortion very easily, because it's going to get harder and harder and harder to see it, is what they're saying. It's not harder to see it when you're tuned. It's easier to see it when you're tuned. But for those who aren't tuned, it's going to become more challenging in being able to really spot where the truth is, because they haven't been tuning their system. Their instrument hasn't been tuning. So it's all about the fine tuning process of that, and going within is really a significant part of that process. So going back to the pearls of wisdom, pearls are the ultimate symbol of wisdom and are well known for being a precious gem that helps with introspection and shadow work, helping to uncover parts of those who tap into their energetic powers. The wisdom that pearls represent is the wisdom gained through experience rather than through learning or books. It is that inner wisdom that can only come through having experienced something for yourself, wisdom that many would say is unmatched. So these are the wisdom codes that they're talking about. This is what the dragons are talking about. And I know they have a lot more to share too about the 6/6 portal that I did take some notes on. But that was kind of just a lot of information. So I'd just like to tune into the comments, see if anybody has anything else. Yes, absolutely. I've seen a lot of rainbows resonating with the energy. Yeah, there's been a lot of rainbow symbolism coming in for me. And that's definitely a sign of and presence of the dragons around you as well. But it's also a presence of these wisdom codes turning on as well, is what, or ascension codes is what they're showing right now. But as I was reading that about the pearl, I was guided to pull out. We're going to start pulling some cards to get a little bit deeper into the messages that want to come through this full moon. And these messages are tuned energetically to those who are a part of this channel, who are watching this live event or watching the replay, those who are a part of my soul community and group. So let's see what I'm pulling from the Dragon Wisdom deck. I don't know if I mentioned that, but it seems appropriate since we're talking about the dragons and wisdom. Yeah, let's just see what other messages do they have for us. Okay, so this one is a purple dragon. So, and it says prayer. And they're saying prayer and intention, but the purple also is a aspect of transmutation. So some of us, they're saying, are many of us, they're saying, are tapping into our powers of transmutation. And just trying to tune in a little bit more to what they want to share on that. So prayer. So yeah, setting the intention. So this is a powerful full moon, they're saying, to set your intentions through prayer. To ask for what you want to receive is what they're highlighting with this card. Don't ask for the activations that you want to receive. Ask for the downloads. Ask for the clarity around specific topics. Things that are confusing you is what they're showing. It feels like some of you are moving through some denser energy right now. So they're saying you need to work with the transmutational powers of the violet dragons. For some of you, this might not be for all of you, but they're definitely showing me that some of you are struggling with heavier, denser energies coming in from the collective and your shadow self. They're saying they're highlighting that some of you, your shadow self is really trying to get your attention, and that there's some deeper inner healing work that you're gonna be called to do during this full moon. For that, the transmutational energy of the purple dragons is very powerful to work with as you feel guided to do so. But was there anything else coming through on that? They keep going back to ask for what you want. So set your clear intentions, because some of you are confused. They're saying some of you don't know which way to turn. You're just getting bombarded with like all this new information, and you're still very much in the process of digesting. They want you to take a break if you're feeling overloaded in any way, like with new information, even new thoughts, new ideas. You might feel inspired to do a lot of different things or create a lot of different things, but this is a time to really release the old paradigms and what's no longer serving you. So they want you to focus your intention on calling forward only what aligns with your highest path and your highest, most organic timeline, because the timelines are shifting and merging so fast. It's faster than what our egoic minds can keep up with. In other words, you can't trust your mind through this process, because your mind is going to get stuck on ideas of the past that may not be relevant anymore, that might have come from an old programming in old conditioning that you are in the process of dismantling. And so you might be picking up on pieces and codes, but you haven't been able to see the full picture yet. Until you see the fullest picture, and until you feel that 100% resonance in your heart center with the senses, like to move forward in action, taking action on that step, don't do it. hold off and transmute all of the fears, doubts, worries, concerns, because your ego mind gets very demanding, but your soul mind is very subtle and very clear. So there's no confusion when your soul is speaking to you. They're saying there's no doubt. There's a sense of knowing that comes with that. So take each action step with when you're in that when you're in your fullest power, which is when you're in your fullest sense of clarity and knowing. That's what it means to be clear on your visions and to get crystal clear on where you're going. So yeah, so that's just a message, powerful message that wants to come through right now. And then another card that came out was Path. And this image on the card is showing me like the divine masculine kind of twin flame type energetic that's really strong on the planet right now. And but it's like coming in those two, the yin and yang, the balancing the masculine and feminine forces and coming into a state of wholeness within. So that's really going to help you stay centered on your path and heart centered. So just pay attention to the ways that you're being guided to harmonize your energy systems. And they're kind of talking about balancing your chakras, doing that inner spiritual healing work, Reiki sessions, things like that at this time of the full moon seem really helpful to keep you grounded and stabilized in your energy field so that you can take in new light, so that you can embody those higher light codes and get those wisdom downloads more strongly and clearly from your team without distortion in the field. So they want you to take, some of you, like an energetic break from outside information for a while and go into somewhat of a cocoon phase, they're showing. And that's where that protection energy comes in. It's really self-protection in terms of being able to create that energetic space or bubble or cosmic egg around you that is there to shield you from the outside forces so that you can really stay steady within and stay centered within to pick up on the higher guidance that's coming through without distortion, is what they're saying. Or friction, they're saying, from outside sources, because it feels like a lot of the chaotic energies that people tend to feel around this time as well can affect the collective in that way and can produce that sort of staticky, kind of jolty type of energy that can throw people off their balance if they're not fully anchored in to their own crysted light source. So meditate through and strengthen your connection with your own crysted light source, and just strengthen your shields. It's about strengthening your shields because there is some darker energies that are being kicked up right now. It feels like, especially coming in with the 6/6 portal, there's definitely some I'll use the word demonic, but that's not to engender fear, but that's just the word that comes in. Forces that they're kind of doing their own work. They're kind of out there trying to bring in help to distract us all. So we got to stay like strong in our light and connected to each other as well through sacred spaces like this, and just staying tuned to those higher frequency energies because they're all around us. They're really safeguarding us at this time of ascension. So we don't have to worry or fear about outside forces, but we just need to stay strong in our shields so we don't get like distracted and thrown off, is really the feeling, thrown off course with the energies. So I'll check in with you guys in the comments real quick and see what you guys are picking up on too. Khan is saying, absolutely seeing that too. Awaken, people see more. The others will repeat the lessons to learn. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not like you get, like you have free will. This is what my guides showed me because I was going through something difficult and I had a choice and I struggled a bit, but I stayed true. And after the fact, they're like, proud of me for doing that. But then they were like showing me that, it would have been fine if I didn't and I went off. But if I would have done that, I just have to come back and do it again. So they're like, in this lifetime, if you don't clear this part of your karmic path or ancestral stuff, you just come back and do it again. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't sound so great to me. Like, I don't want to be here repeating lessons and having to go through this again and again and again. So it's better to just, do it and get it done with. We have the support we need. So, and we're super tuned in right now. So, so that's interesting, Con. Nice to see you, Faye. Fern is here. Yeah. Oh, interesting. So you have a strong resonance with pearls. Awesome. Yeah, if you guys have pearls, meditate with them. They carry a lot of these wisdom codes, I guess. And this is just a strong energy. I'm not sure if it's just this full moon, but the feeling is like there's more connected to it than just the wisdom. They were showing me like the infinity sign, and I was getting other downloads that I don't think pertain to this live event that I'm still kind of piecing together for a message. So hopefully if something big comes through with that one, I'll come back and share that. But yeah, Khan says, yes, what you want may not be what you need. Exactly. It's like all those lower ego desires, they come from conditioning of like old paradigms. So it may not be true to what your soul is wanting you to do. And your soul really wants you to ascend, is what they're saying. Your soul wants to ascend. And so anything that you need to do that's going to clear out, purify your vibration, and it's going to help you ascend, that's your priority, really. That is all of our priorities right now, is looking within and seeing like what's there, what's hiding in the dark there that needs to be transmuted, healed, all of that. And can the violet flame be used? Yes, absolutely. The violet flame. Yes, the violet dragons, they represent the energy of the violet flame. They carry the energy of the violet flame. But yeah, that's one of the highest spiritual tools we can use for the purpose of transmutation. Master Saint Germain, Lady Portia, Archangel Zadkiel, all guides that can bring that energy in. And we can just meditate with that energy, like the violet flame around us. We can use it as a shield as well, for protection. So yeah, lots of different ways. Let's see, is there any other, because we're half an hour in here. Let me just see where we're at with, I'm going to pull out this deck, Mystical Journey Oracle, and just kind of see if there's any information on like where we're at in our own process or stage, or if there's just any extra information that wants to come through from the dragons about this full moon. Clearing your space is what came out. Clearing your space. So they're talking about decluttering your energy bodies, but your physical environments as well. So full moons are a good time to kind of clear and release energy that might be stored in your homes, like in stagnant energy is what they're showing me. So anything where there might be stuck energy, anything that just like when you walk into a room and you're just like, oh, that corner doesn't give me a good feeling. It's like spend some time cleaning up, inner and outer. The inner reflects the outer and vice versa. So yeah, that just feels like a call to do that. Let's see if there's anything else they want to share. Eternal self is coming out, but this is just like connection to your God self. It's all about your inner light. It's all about knowing you're divinely connected to source, so you have that access to that source point. So the source codes coming in are really enlightening us into stepping into our power and our spiritual discernment is what they're saying. So know thyself is kind of the message. Know thy eternal self. Eternal self is one with all, and takes that neutral perspective. So it gets out of the ego space, and it gets out of the reactive from the egoic mind zone and into the neutral observer zone, where there's no fear. There's just witnessing. It's just witnessing and observing your own emotions coming up, not attaching so much to the emotion, but observing the feelings that come up, the triggers that come up. It's just being a witness to your own divinity and your own process of healing as well. So that's where the source wisdom codes come through. It's just by doing the work. Essentially, you get the pieces. You start to get the signs and symbols of how your mission is unfolding and how it's like your own integration process is happening. And yeah, it's just like collecting the dots, but connecting the dots is one way to see it, but it's also collecting the pieces. It's like the fragments of your eternal self that is part of that mastery, is what they're talking about. Piecing together your own wholeness into unity. So seeing the parts that have been sort of misplaced, displaced, fragmented off, and collecting them back in. And that's when your spiritual powers really start to come online. So use the full moon energy, focus on the full moon energy to really heal those aspects of self, but also with the purpose of unifying into that more powerful being, that eternal self, connecting to that whole self that already exists. It's like the healed version that already exists, but we are creating a passageway, a doorway through the portal of the moon to connect into that, bridge that gap of our own sacred self. It's like our sacred journey back to source is really about healing and being able to see both sides, the unhealed version, but the healed version as well, and bridging the gap between the two. So I hope that is coming out well, but in a way that makes sense. So it's a mystical journey is what they're saying. It's a mystical journey. And there's always surprises along the way as well. There's always tests and initiations. So it's just a fun journey to be on. I mean, we're all, it's one big adventure, right? But let's see, someone is sharing in the comments, I had a dream of incinerating trash a few days ago. I got banned from a spiritual group the morning before that. Yeah, see, yeah, a lot of symbolism comes in through your dreams, and I'm getting a lot of I don't want to say energy, but like it's just like activations. That's a word. Activations coming in through my dream time. It's getting to the point where like my dream time and my reality are kind of starting to blur, where my reality feels like a dream. Sometimes I can't tell the difference because I'm doing work and getting messages in my dream time as well. But yeah, really powerful. Full moons are powerful times for receiving downloads through dreams as well. So that's interesting that you're making that connection. And that's really what it's all about, because we get these messages coming in, but sometimes we don't see the clear connection. So that's where it's important to really just tune in to your higher self and the ways you are receiving messages. It's not just going to come through channeling direct guidance, but it comes in bits and pieces from many different ways. So okay. So I'm being guided to go move into the 6/6 portal right now, and I took some notes. So let me pull those up, because I was getting a bit of a download coming in earlier. All right, yeah. So the 6/6 they were saying, is about unity codes, balance, harmony, relationships, unconditional love. And that's when I started to really get a message coming in from the Rainbow Dragons about that specifically, or what they're doing and how they're helping us. So the Rainbow Dragons are opening portals. And then they were showing us that we are the Rainbow Dragons. So there's symbolism in that as well. We are the Rainbow Crystalline Dragons holding the Ascension codes, because it's in our DNA. So the dragons are here to help us activate those codes that's within our 12 strands of DNA, but a lot of those codes have been manipulated, mutated, distorted. So we're getting distorted versions of reality that aren't true to our highest crystal self and light. So we're really being controlled by outside forces to manipulate our DNA so that we don't wake up our dragon self, essentially our ascended self is what they're saying. So the crystalline rainbow dragons are here. They're opening portals to gateways to our higher self. Essentially connecting with their energy is a portal, opens a gateway for us to connect into our higher self and to tap into that, again, source consciousness. They were also saying keys. So these they hold the ascension codes, keys for our ascension. More keys will be presented at this time. So I'm tuning into the 6/6 portal. So this is kind of related to that. So the sense is that during that portal date, or around the time of that portal, and those portal dates are strong enough to where sometimes it's like a day before or even a day after, that we could be in that energy, feeling that energy, but the peak is on the portal date. But what is coming in is that the feeling that we're going to get more keys presented to us at this time to unlock portals to future timelines. They were saying where Christed beings reign. So this is all about stepping into our Christ light, into the power of where sovereignty rules, those sovereign unto self, freedom, unity, Christ consciousness. We're tuning into the timelines where we are creating that, birthing that. It's just a high time for ascension codes is what they're saying. They were talking about heaven to earth, bringing the heaven to earth, portals to other dimensions for wisdom, opening portals for Stargate ascension. All of this is just connected to that portal as well. But this has also been happening for some time. So this is just what path we are on. The road to ascension is what I'm saying. I'm hearing, I should say. Crystalline timelines are birthing. So new, and then they were saying new concepts, an era of new enlightenment, new strategies for peace. And they were talking about peaceful protesting and warriors of the light. And also they were talking about the ancient warrior codes being turned on as well. So it feels like we're getting a lot of downloads at this time for peace, like what we need to bring peace back to our planet, how to reign, leadership that brings a peaceful reign. It feels like this could be coming through collectively as well. Peaceful protests. They keep saying peaceful protests and like marching. So I don't know if we'll see that happening in the public domain where there will be some peaceful protesting, or it might be ushering in a new timeline where there will be more people standing up and protesting peacefully for the truth and what's right. But it's all divinely guided action is what they're showing. So the keys to ascension are really about unity, Christ consciousness. That's what's coming in. And that's just a high energy date to tune into those frequencies. But it's also a high energy date for the dark forces to kind of do their dark magic and black magic rituals to kind of, again, keep us in the denser energies. So the frequencies are there. So tune to the rainbow dragons, tune to those frequencies on that date specifically. Power up is what they're saying with those frequencies, to activate that spiritual warrior side, because that spiritual warrior side is really going to be needed moving forward when it comes to speaking your truth and being more active on the front lines of what's going on, because you're going to be having to stand up against like fear. You're going to have to stand in truth. And it's rising out of the fear. It's like they're showing me the phoenix rising out of the ashes. And you're really going to have to stand in your truth to unite in that way. So to bring in the Christed light or the Christ consciousness on a collective scale, we're all going to have to sort of rise from the flames, rise from the ashes into our true sovereign power. So that spiritual warrior codes are important for that. Harnessing that higher light energy and bringing it out and not being afraid is in other words of what they're going to throw at us is the feeling, because there's just going to be more coming at us. It is a spiritual warfare, but they're, trying to hijack this reality. And so they're not going to go down easy in the sense. So they might bring up more, I don't know what's going to happen necessarily, but it's just like more of the same ways that they're going to try to like instill fear in us. And so we have to stand together in peace and harmony and unity. But so that's part of that 6/6 message I wanted to share. Let me see if there was anything else around that. I don't think so specifically. Okay, so I'll just pull, they did want me to pull a couple cards from the Twin Flame Ascension deck, since the 6/6 energy is very powerful for bringing in the balance, the harmony, which is all about, the Twin Flame energy is really about, the balance between the divine masculine and feminine energies, and that's something that happens within. That's a process that happens within, whether you're in a relationship or not, but some of us who are activated on our twin flame journeys will notice that there's a lot of information coming in for that. So we'll be guided on our missions as it relates to that as well. But essentially, we're anchoring in the frequencies for unconditional love, for new relationship templates that are modeled around unconditional love. And I really do feel that the divine masculines are waking up. So I feel like, I just got a lot of cards fall out, but I just feel like the divine masculines are waking up. So it's been like a lot of divine feminines waking up. I feel like we're going to start to see the sleeping, I'm hearing sleeping lions waking up, the divine masculines who have been maybe blocking out the truth that's coming in. They're going to start seeing it, and they're going to start rising to their power, which is really about them uniting with the divine feminines. And that again happens within, but also in relationships, it's going to start happening. So I just feel like that's part of the process. But let's see what cards came out. A lot came out, so I'm not sure which ones they're wanting me to focus on here. So yeah, so with the 6/6 portal, number one, it's being one with self. Again, that's really where the balance comes in. And blossoming is on the card. So it is a time for blossoming. And I hear self-worth. So they're highlighting, it's like a need to honor ourselves, a need to feel like worthy for our own self-love. So unconditional love is self-love. It's self-love is unconditional love for the self. So bringing harmony to the self is really about loving all of the pieces of yourself and bringing those into harmonic balance. And so part of that process is going to be the karmic purge. So, and then mirror reflection. So they're saying, like, be willing to look in the mirror and see the parts of yourself that you're not comfortable with, or that you're hiding from the world. It's like, what are those shadow aspects that you're hiding? What are you afraid to look at? Like, all of that is going to start coming to the surface to be cleansed and healed, similar to what the full moon energy brings out. But this is just also part of what these portals kind of activate within us, like the ways to really see our self-reflection truly as it is, and be willing to look at what we are uncomfortable with, what aspects of ourselves we're not comfortable with. So if we're feeling uncomfortable with something, then that's a call to go into that and really ask ourselves, why? Is it an issue of self-worth? Are we not valuing ourselves enough? Are we neglecting some parts of ourselves that are seeking recognition? Again, twin flame journey is really about not seeking recognition outside of ourselves, but seeking validation from within, because we are always connected to source, and we don't need to get something outside of ourselves that we can give to ourselves. So that is what they're kind of showing me as what's going to help bring that into balance, those energies. And then this card represents the soul merger, the ebb and the flow, the caduceus with the two serpent energies coming up is also a strong symbol for bringing those divine forces into balance. And so it is about merging with our soul. So these energies are all about coming into soul merger, which is like our true essence. So that just seems to be like the highlighted theme. Issues that we might face are battle of head versus heart, which is part of the transformation process. This came up in the last reading, and it's just a continuing reminder that we're constantly having to battle the ego through this whole process, but shedding the ego is really what this process is all about. That's how we reveal our authentic self. And they're also saying to heal abandonment issues, time to forgive. So that's really a message to, I feel like it goes in line with what I was just talking about, looking in the mirror, but what ways do we feel like neglected, or what ways are we still healing those separation wounds is what they're showing me. So those separation wounds like run really deep in the collective. So there's going to be a lot of karmic purging around those types of wounds coming up with these energies. And so that's something that is going to come up within ourselves as well to be healed. So that's the foundational root cause of a lot of the I don't want to say negative feelings, but denser feelings that we often feel. It's just how our shadow side feels disconnected from the love of source, the unconditional love. It feels abandoned. It feels neglected. It's healing that trauma within and reconnecting to source to really feel the love again for ourselves. But it comes through the unconditional love that we give ourselves, essentially. So those are interesting messages coming through. Around that, does anybody have any questions specifically related to the 6/6 portal energy or the full moon energy? If not, and you guys have questions for the dragons, or if there's even another guide you would like to me to channel guidance from, or just have any general questions, I'll take your questions now. You can post in the comments. But yeah, I'll just see how you guys are doing out here. Yes, we are love. Gone. We are love. Yay. Yeah, it is exciting. It is exciting. Definitely a lot going on, and it's just going to keep getting busier with that. So, okay, so you're talking, okay, so I have a question. Is my main guide a dragon? Okay, let me tune in and see. Yes, you have a dragon guide. So we all have like a guardian dragon guide that's around us. Um, Let me tune in more to the energy of the dragon that wants to step forward for you, because there's different dragon guides around. There's different colors and versions of dragon guides, but I keep getting a green dragon really coming in strong for you, but there's a feeling that there's also more than one. So it feels like you're attracting the dragon energy. It's like the more we ascend, the more we call forth the dragons to kind of come in and help us in that sense. Even though we might not be conscious of how we're working with them, it's like we have that ability to call on them and access them at any time. So it's just a matter of knowing to do that. But the green dragon that's coming in, I feel like this green dragon is helping you balance like your heart. They're showing me like the heart chakra. There's some heart chakra activations taking place. They're helping you to balance your energy there, and specifically that way. So this does feel like a healing energy of the divine masculine, feminine energies as well, bringing that into harmonic balance. And they're reminding me that the green, the energy of green, because I had Archangel Raphael show up earlier, but I didn't feel like he was the one that wanted to come through today for a channel guidance, but he was kind of around. I feel like that energy is very healing at this time as well, for those of us who are really working with connecting to our higher self and our higher wisdom. Um, so more specifically, how is this guide dragon working with her energy right now? Heal you, to heal you. I'm trying to tune in if it's like a masculine or feminine energy. And I'm getting more of a draw to like feminine. It feels like more of a feminine dragon type energy. And they're talking about archetypal energy too. So there's some sort of transformation going on, like it's an inner transformation. So I feel like they're guiding you through this process, which is healing some sort of like archetypal imbalance or something is what they're showing me. But there's just like an archetypal energy, a present that's coming in. Yeah, it just feels like they're just highlighting transformation, and they were saying archetypal energies, so I'm not sure what they mean by that, but they're talking about healing the archetypes. So um, they're showing me now there's ways that females are presented in reality, our current paradigm, that are imbalanced and unhealed versions of archetypal energy that isn't the correct version. So it's like we're all sort of masking those wounds of these archetypes that have been um, unhealed within us. And so as we move through our chakras and move through the layers of healing, we're working more with those archetypal energies, I guess. And they're saying the dragons are powerful to guide us through that process, but help us connect to the different archetypal energies that are wounded, and how we're working on healing them and activating them to more of an healed version of their expression. So yeah, very interesting message coming in with that. Let's see, anyone else? Okay. Cynthia would like a message from her dragon if she is still there. Yeah, I know they're still there. That's kind of why I'm laughing, because they're always around, but they're waiting to be asked for you to call on for their assistance. So I feel like your dragon is it's kind of like monitoring your progress is what they're showing me. And it also feels like helping you with transmutation. I'm getting like a purple energy coming in with your dragon specifically, but um, there could be more than one around you at this time. But it just feels like your your dragon is also coming in with like a very healing, it's a very calming energy that I'm receiving right now. But they keep showing me purple, so purple is activating you. I don't know what it is. They're talking about your crown chakra, so they're saying purple is activating your crown chakra. So there are purple dragons around you to work with. Also your third eye, I feel like they're helping to activate you with that as well. um, so I don't know if you're picking up on a purple energy around you, but they're highlighting the dragon's tail, like almost like they're showing me, like if you're seeing purple energy around you, it's like the energy left by the dragon's tail that's like circling you, or they're definitely clearing and transmuting. So they're working with your energy already. But you could definitely call them in more. It feels like if you want to work more directly with them, you can give them a name, or channel a name from them. But it feels like they want you to make like a heart connection with them, so that you can resonate with their frequency, and learn to know when they're around you, to make that stronger connection for you. But I hope that helps. And let's see, Carolyn. Yeah, the fire red. Oh, wow. I remember. I remember channeling your dragon before, Carolyn. Okay, so let's see. Your dragon comes in with like a kind of like a spiritual warrior type of energy and protection type of energy. Um, in a heat, it's like a heated energy as well, coming from that fire, I'm sure. But let's see if there's more of a message coming in. It's like the heated energy of protection is what I'm hearing, guarded protection. Your dragon is really safeguarding you at this time, protecting your energetic space and helping you clear your energetic space as well, from outside influences that might distort your like the information that you receive from outside sources. So they're wanting you to stay really aligned to your highest path. So the way they're showing this is just like they're clearing any distortions in the field that might kind of make you question what you're doing or how to move forward, or just there. It's really just to clear the information channel so you're getting the highest message and you're staying attuned to your highest path. It's true alignment is what they're showing me. So um and this dragon also seems to help like ignite like that sovereign power within you. It's like standing in your full force power. It's very magnetic energy for you. It feels like energy that you're drawn to work with, in terms of like being like your fiercer side of self comes out. It's like your protective nature. I'm also getting like the motherly protective energy as well, so coming out. So there's just a force field of protective energy around that your dragon emits for you. And you, the way they're showing it is like you just being in that energy field. It's like you're getting those codes, like you carry those codes, so it feels like it's igniting within your own DNA, like passion. Also passion for purpose is what they're showing me. So there's a lot of symbolism with the fire, a dragon with you, and anchoring you on stable ground as well. And um, yeah, they're just showing passion right now. Passion for purpose is what I'm hearing. So I feel like if you are really feeling powerful drive to move like with purpose, and you have a lot of like energy coming through to move certain ways and do certain things, then that's coming, that drive is kind of coming from your dragon, that the activations that your dragon has given to you, that's helping you in that way. But it's just a powerful force. You have a powerful dragon working with you, and they're telling me that anyone can also work with the fire dragons in that way, but some of us have a little bit more of that sort of protection energy around us from specific types of dragons for different healing purposes, and to help us step into our power and activate specific gifts and healing powers that we're here to align with on our missions. Okay, so Kira would love a message from her blue dragon guide, please. Okay, let me tune in for blue dragons. Yeah, I'm hearing peace and abundance, and calm waters ahead. So it feels like you've been maybe on a turbulent ride. I feel like your dragon is bringing you a message of peace and abundance, that there's going to be a more calm period, or maybe you're entering into a new calm, stable period in your life where, and they're saying transitioning well. It feels like you're healing and transitioning well into new phases of your life. You're entering into new portals and dimensions in time and space as well, where your healing powers are being activated and turned on. And it feels very much like a water dragon to me, the type of energy they're showing me. But they're also showing like teaching you how to like go with the flow and ride the currents and really navigate with your full senses, like psychic senses turned on. So they're illuminating, your dragon's illuminating for you like the pathway forward, but also you're using discernment and teaching you discernment, but you're tuning into your own discernment and your own judgment, inner judgment. It's like you're being very wise is what they're showing me, and the choices that you're making. And you're tuning into the wisdom of your dragon in that sense. And you're just naturally going with the flow a lot better. So there's not as much resistance in your field is what they're showing. So there's more activations that can occur when you don't have that resistance built up. And so it feels like you've been working on healing that inner resistance and turmoil or conflict within. And through finding that balance and inner balance, you're more aligned to the frequency of your dragon, but also there just feels like there's more of a calming energy coming in and presenting in your life as you transition into this new phase, is what they're showing. So yeah, very interesting. And I hope that resonates. Purpose and alignment. Yes. Awesome. Thank you, Carolyn. Okay, let me go back up and see some of the responses. Oh, really? You have a blue water dragons. That would be, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Yeah. Oh, you are. Okay. All right. That makes sense then. Why he's coming through. Beautiful. Oh, so that's why the green energy was coming through. Oh, I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. And the water dragons too have beautiful energy coming in. And Faith is, you have a question. A beautiful new guide stepped forward to me the other day. A beautiful Lemurian elf. Oh, love the elves. I think named Ezra. I believe we are extremely close in spirit from what I could gather. Any messages from her? Okay, so a lot of us here I know have a strong connection with the elves. Let me tune into her energy right now and see. Yeah, any messages for Faith from Ezra? I don't know. She's just like, her energy is like really slowly coming in closer. It's interesting. Yes, you're very connected from the heart space is what I'm feeling. You do have it. She's just confirming. She's saying you have a direct connection to Lemuria. She's a Lemurian guide and working on your team, and she's saying that she's sent as a messenger from the divine. So it's like from the elf collective is what she's saying. So she's here to serve your purpose and mission as it relates to your connection to Lemuria and the codes and the lifetimes that you have from your own experiences or lifetimes in Lemuria. So she's here to help activate those codes and memories for you. It's like you've attracted her into your life. You've magnetically drawn her into your life because you're ready to work with the Lemurian energy now. It feels like, and they are showing me the rainbow energy as well. Like they have a rainbow like source connected energy similar to the rainbow dragons. So they're all kind of on the same frequency as what she's showing me now. So she's highlighting that they're all sort of rainbow dragons. And, you know, the closer you get to source, it's like the higher up you go in frequency, the closer all of these guides get to sharing in that frequency. But they all bring different harmonic codes specific to their heritage or DNA, and how they relate to source in a cosmic sense, and what their cosmic role and purpose is in guiding the collective at this time. So many of us in this group that are connected energetically through this group will be contacted by the Lemurians. We will be contacted if we haven't already connected to their energy. The feeling is that they are connecting with us. We just might not be aware of it. But those who are tuning in through their higher self, or tuning to their higher self, or through meditation, or have the psychic sense to ask who's connected to us and see that and feel that, will feel the Lemurian presence standing forward. And it's to activate us on the next phase of our journey of ascension, because those Lemurian codes are very present on our planet right now. They're showing, but also very needed to come into that harmonic state and unity and balance. And so the Lemurians and the Rainbow Dragons are really working strongly together to help us step into our crystal selves, which is our activated selves, like our activated star selves, our full soul blueprint as it connects to our true source code is what the Ascension is all about. So we're activating all of these different spiritual gifts. And so that's the general message for you, Faith, as to, let me just see if there was anything else as I read your question, if they want to come in with anything else. Yeah. Yeah, just that she's helping to activate you, and she's part of your spiritual team, and it's part of your soul mission to work with her specifically, to get like more downloads and informations on how you're being guided to like move on your path. So it feels like it's like mission alignment, like coming into your power, but activating your spiritual gifts and lessons from soul lessons from Lemuria is what they're highlighting. So it feels like what your soul knows from Lemurian lifetimes is what she can help you remember and activate and stay true to in your heart. So you carry that wisdom from those lifetimes, and the presence of her in your life as a guide is that spiritual connection that you have is going to help you to, it's like she's saying empower you, but to remember those gifts or activate those powers. And it's also about activating others, because I know you're connected to a lot of different guides. But the more you stay connected, and the more you remember those connections, the more you are able to then, it's like you're downloading those DNA codes as you're connecting into those memories and feeling into those connections, but then you're able to pass that on to others. So it's like just being, what they're showing me is like once those codes are activated within your field, just being in the presence of others, even strangers that you don't know, it's like your field touching the fields of others is going to activate them on a quantum level. So it's just the more of us that are activated in that way, the more we help activate the whole planet in that sense. Excuse me. So I hope that helps, and beautiful energy to bring in, especially since I was mentioning earlier that I'm going to be doing like a channeling with the Lemurians specifically for my Patreon group, but also I'll probably post some of that message here on YouTube as well. Awesome. Okay, so let's see. I think that's it for questions, but also I feel like I'm getting that tickle that comes in towards the end of my channelings. It's kind of like a sign to wrap it up as well. So thank you so much for joining me today. Hope those messages were helpful in some way, and hope you all are subscribed and will be joining me in my private Facebook group, and hopefully on my Patreon too. And yeah, I look forward to doing more live events like this. And I know there's a lot happening from now till even we've got a 777 portal happening in July that I know the dragons have something to do with. So I feel like it could be a busy month for me as well. And I am going to be doing more not one-on-one, but I am going to be hosting more sessions, like group type sessions with the dragons coming up in my Patreon group in the next few months, but they're sort of prepping me and initiating me for that. So I don't know what it will all entail, but it will definitely be activating us more and more. So thanks again, everyone. Love you all so much. We'll see you soon. Bye.